Good afternoon, friends, family, loved ones, enemies, contributors, distractors. This is Kevin Lewis on the Blueprint. And this week's show is called Appeal, Appeal. And what I mean by appeal, when I'm talking about appeal, I'm talking about two different words. What I'm talking about, the first word I'm talking about appeal is APPEAL, appeal, which means to beckon someone, to request, an urgent request, and sometimes a public request. And then the other appeal is something that's PILL, something that people take for a quick remedy to maybe a problem or a situation. So I like to talk about or look at semantics and etymology of words and things like this. And the reason is because we tend to mix words up and we group words together. And sometimes we morph words together and they become synonymous with each other. What we have in the Black community, we have problems and we have issues. And if I ask most people what's the difference between a problem and an issue, they're going to think that they're the same thing because we interchange those words all the time. Even if you Google, the first definitions may tell you that a problem is an issue that people have, blah, 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 that gives you this. Or issue is a problem that people have, and they interchange the definition. So you really have to look into the words and look at the differences between the two words. And what is the differences? And most of us, because the English language has become so lazy, that we interchange words all the time and think that those words mean the same thing. Now, what I said about the show today, or what I posted about the show, what we're going to be talking about is the problems that we are facing today were sown yesterday. And the efforts put forth to fight the issue hasn't changed. It's still inept efforts given to fight the issue. So I'm going to break down what I'm talking about. If I talk about a problem, the difference between a problem and an issue is simply this. A problem is something that is more specific and particular. On the other hand, an issue is something that is broader, more general, from a broader perspective. It's a bigger picture. An issue will cause problems. And they may not be the same problems, but an issue will cause problems. A lot of times when I go with the job that I do, I may do an installation at a business or a resident, or I may have to go make a repair. And sometimes I interact with the customer and I will ask them, so what kind of problems are we having if it's a repair? And they tell me, well, this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. And it may be a couple of problems that they notice, but I have to go out and find the issue that is causing these different problems. And when they tell me all the problems that they have, I have to troubleshoot and say, okay, what is actually the issue causing these problems? Sometimes you could have a problem here, a problem with this, and a problem. Let's say if it's a telephone, it has a hum on it when it rains. Is that causation? Is that correlation? Is it meaning that is the rain causing you to have the hum? Or is it just correlation that it just happens when it rains and the rain has nothing to do? I have to discern what is happening. So when they tell me, well, sometimes I miss calls altogether. Sometimes um, the phone doesn't ring. Sometimes it's a busy signal when I pick it up. Okay, so it seems that all of these things are caused by a certain issue that we know causes all of these different problems. And I may have to go a mile down the road and find the issue that's causing these different problems. If you go to a doctor and you tell the doctor, well, doc, my knee is bad. I got a brace on and my hips is achy and I get short of breath, you know, I can't lose weight. I can't exercise because I'm short of breath when I try to exercise, and then my body aches, my joints ache. These are all problems that you are isolating the different parts of your anatomy. And the doctor can look at you and he could say, well, you know what? He could do two things. He could say, oh my God, you have a lot going on. Let me give you something for your knee. Let me give you, uh, a walker for your knee so you don't have to put pressure on it. Let me give you an ointment to put on your knee. Let me do something for your shortness of breath. I got to figure out, how we could get you to exercise because you're gaining weight. And he could look at a whole bunch of problems and maybe be overwhelmed or give you a bunch of different pills. And maybe one of the pills he may give you, another doctor may say, well, let me just give you a pill that's going to help you lose weight. Because I think the weight is the reason that you have shortness of breath. I think the weight is why your joints are aching, your knee is getting bad and getting worse because you're putting extra stress on your knee. And this is why your hips are starting to hurt. It was someone called William of Ockham, and he came up with a theory of called Occam's razor. If the doctor you went to see was Dr. William of Ockham, he would say, you know what, let me get to the problem. Occam's razor means that you're peeling back, you're taking a razor, you're peeling back the layers of all the problems, and you're trying to get to the core of the problem. And his theory was Occam's razor. The most obvious solution can be found, and you could look at one thing that could probably solve all the rest of the problems. That is a solution to an issue, finding the issue that's causing all of the problems that this person may have. And that's one way of attacking a situation. Another doctor may be Dr. John Bamber Hickam, and he has what they call an aphorism. An aphorism is like a short saying that says, a person can have as many diseases as they pleases, as he or her pleases. Meaning we can cure and we could tackle all the diseases. They don't just have to have one issue that's causing all their problems. They can have as many diseases as they pleases, and we can cure and try to rectify all of that. Going to Dr. Hickam, he may say, okay, let's work on your knee. Let's work on your shortness of breath. Let's give you some breathing exercises. Let's work on your hip. Let's work on your back. Let's work on whatever, and work on your weight. They have two different opposing approaches to you having these problems. So my point on this is that we have issues that we are not rectifying because we're fighting problems. Let me digress. We're not even fighting problems. We're complaining about problems and not looking at the issue that's causing the problems that we are having. And this is the situation I think the Black community have been in for a long time. There are people that appeal to you that will say, hey, this is the situation. This is what the issue is that's causing all of our problems. And many of us, we go around and Hickham's Dickum, and we're trying to fight each problem. And we have groups that's going out to fight the problem with education. We have groups that's trying to fight the problem with our violence in our community. We have groups or people that's trying to holistically help our people's health concerns. And we have groups that's trying to help us in the government and politically, and some of them that look like us and some of them that don't. And sometimes we back in some of those people that don't look like us. We go on for a certain party, and many of our problems are in the politics or in the voting booths, as many people may say. But that's what they look at, is the politics. And we have people that's concerning themselves with our homes and teen pregnancies or the single parent household issues that they think is crippling our community. The drugs, people out there fighting the drugs and the gangs and everything that's out there that's crippling our community. And you have other people that's telling you there's an issue that's causing all of these problems. And this is what I want to communicate today. This is what I want to talk about today because we know that we have many problems. We complain about having so many problems. You could come on social media, you could do whatever every day of the week and talk about a different problem that we have in our community. There's a movie, one of my favorite movies of all time called The Exorcist. And I think it's the scariest movie of all time. But it's a scene in there where the priest is trying to exorcise the demons or the demon that's in this young girl. And for some reason, they say, well, if you learn the demon's name, then you can exercise. It makes it easier to exercise that. And he said, what's your name? Tell me your name. I command you to tell me your name. And the demon replies, we are legion, for we are many. And what this is an excerpt from Mark 5:9. And it happens in the Bible where they asked the demon, and the demon said, we are legion, for we are many, meaning that there's many of us. It doesn't matter my name or I have a whole army. It's not just me. Now, my problem is not how many of y'all it is. My problem is, or the issue is that y'all are here. I don't care if it's you, it's three of y'all, four of y'all. I need your gone. That's going to solve the issue. The problem, and if you leave, maybe what'll happen is you will have a girl who eyes look normal, who hair is better, who breath smells better after you leave. So that's the issue. I don't care about all the different problems that's happening that y'all are causing. Y'all are causing problems, but you are the issue. You is the thing that I need to exercise. And this is what I see in our community. We need to exercise some of the issues that's going on. And we have to see our problems in the Black community as such. Because what we tend to do is we tend to come on and complain about the same things over and over and over with no viable strategy for solutions. We send it to complain about, constantly complain about the same things. Somebody in the government, somebody the president, they're doing this to our history. They're doing this in our school system. So some people, they say, well, we'll start our own school systems. We're doing this, or the violence in our community. We have people that want to go out and talk to these gang members or these people that they perpetrating the violence, or they're trying to rectify the home situation. They believe that religion is the answer. They're doing all these things, trying to fight each problem that we are facing in our community. And I'm submitting to you that we have an issue that's causing our problems. 10 years ago, I went to the Million Man March, Justice or Else. It was in Washington, D.C., October the 10th, 2015. One of the best experiences of my life. It was many speakers there. I had Louis Farrakhan was the main speaker. He was the one that called the Million Man March. And he tried to give us appeal. He made an appeal and he tried to give us appeal. Appeal, like I said, is a remedy. When you're sick, something is wrong, or you need to correct something. A lot of times, if you don't want to do the work that many doctors will appeal for you to do, beckon for you to do, urge you to do, then sometimes you just want a pill. I don't want to do all of that. I don't want to exercise. Give me a pill to help me lose weight. So what happened at the Million Man March, the Justice for Else one, which was the 20th anniversary of the original Million Man March. So coming up this October the 10th is going to be the 30th anniversary of the original Million Man March, which was about atonement and unity, atonement for the things that we do, correcting the things that we do, and to unify. The Justice or For Else one that I attended, it was about this is what we're demanding, justice. And if we don't get it, these are the things that we will do. So he was making a demand and he gave us appeal. He was appealing to us, meaning the Minister Farrakhan. He was appealing to the Black community to do these certain things that will correct what he believed correct the situation or correct the issues that we were having. The issue that was being focused on was white supremacy racism in this country. We had a plethora of police brutality crimes being committed, the murders, Tamir Rice, all these type of things were happening in our community. It may not be that particular thing, but it was a plethora of crimes of brutality and things that were being committed in the Black community. The same things that continue to happen. So the Minister Farrakhan made an appeal to the Black community again, but this time he was giving us a pill, PILL, that to take this to correct the problems that we are having. This is a way to fight the system, to let the system know that we are not playing anymore, to let the system know that we will be unified in finding a viable solution. He gave us a strategy at that time. What did he prescribe for us to do? He prescribed boycotts and spending strategies. He appealed to the Black community. Start off like this. Start off with Black Friday. This was October. It's October now. That was October then. And coming up in a couple of weeks was Black Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving. This was the biggest economic boom for the U.S. economy at that time. That was the biggest day that the economy gets their boost from people. They have what they call Black Friday, things on sale. Everyone goes out, rushes to buy things for Christmas. So what he was saying was show them that we are serious. Show them that we have had enough. Now, what happened, what ensued was they didn't want to take that pill. That pill was a pill that they wasn't really willing to swallow. Or they wanted a pill that they could swallow an easy way out when he was making an appeal to us to do these certain things to make them know that we are serious. Many of us scoffed at that. We wasn't really willing to do what the minister was appealing to for us to do, to show them that we mean business, that we have had enough, and we're going to hit you, this capitalistic system, we're going to hit you in the pocketbook. And he said that was the first step. But what happened was people scoffed at that. My kids got to have their Christmas. And I used to always go on social media and say, yeah, well, you cry about the things that's happening, but you're not willing to take the sacrifices to fight the issues of what's happening. The issue was white supremacy, racism. That's in the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. I don't care about your voting booths. This is the reason we are facing the same problems throughout the centuries of being in this country. The problems, they'll change. Some of them will stay the same, but they amount one way and we'll get rid of one problem, but we still have a plethora of other problems. The Democratic Party is not solving our education system in America for the Black community. The Democratic Party is not solving the issue or the problem that we have as far as economics in this country. You could say, well, our employment may get better, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same for black community as white community. They are not going to correct the issues, the issue at hand. They are part of the issue. The Republican Party, they're part of that issue. So no matter who's been in office, we still have the same status in this country as secondhand citizens to white people in America. And if you're happy with that status, then I guess it doesn't matter to you. But if you're not happy with the status that we have, or trying to improve that status, or give somebody, take the control away and have efforts to control our own employment, or efforts to control our own education and fight each problem. If you want to go about fighting each problem one by one, then that's fine. But if you're not willing to sacrifice to make things happen, then we're going to keep fighting the same problems that we had yesterday. Because what Farrakhan was beckoning us to do and appealing for us to do is fight the issue of white supremacy racism by one, having unity in our community. Not that we all have to be the same, but just having unity. Then we can start pumping money into our own school systems, or creating our own schools and pumping money into it to take and start boycotting them, to let them know that we're not satisfied and not happy with what you're doing. So this is the problem that we have. This is the problems that we have been having. This is the problems that will continue to happen because we as a people are not wanting to take a pill that someone is prescribing to us, or not listening to what they're appealing for us to do. And now we complain about the problems. Oh, they're doing this. It's the same people that's doing this to us. They're taking us out of the school, the textbooks. They're changing our history. They're erasing our history. It's the same people that's been doing that for a while, for the same time. And we're talking about the same thing over and over again. So now we sit here and we continue to complain with no viable strategy. If a doctor gives you a list of things that he wants you to do, and he says, okay, the first thing I need you to do is you need to stop smoking. Then you need to change your diet. And then you need to exercise. If you're not willing to do the first step, then the other steps don't matter, because the smoking is going to kill you. The first Million Man March, the unity, the lack of unity and support that we have for each other is going to kill us. And it's not going to work for us to have boycotts and stuff if we're not unified in having the boycotts. We can't have some people going and some people not, most people not. It's not going to work. The boycott is not going to work, and it's going to die out. If you're not willing to do the first steps, then the second and third steps will not work, and they won't matter. If you're not willing to put forth the effort of something that someone is trying to fight an issue with, and you're only concerning yourself with the problems because you don't want to listen to an appeal and beckoning for you to have unity and have strategized boycotts of things that we love and make sacrifices, then none of it's going to work. And this is what the situation that we're in. None of it has worked. Nothing that we've tried to do has worked. We're finding ourselves in the same situation, even if it takes a long time for it to gradually work. That's okay. Long as you're on that path and taking that road. If you change your diet now and you're trying to get yourself healthy again, and you change your diet, you change the junk food, you take all of that away, it's not going to happen overnight. But what you will start to see is changes, and you would be heading in a direction. But right now, we are not heading in any direction. Only thing we're doing is constantly complaining. This is what's happening. This is why it's happening, because people are not voting, because we didn't have enough people voting. And when we did have enough people voting, the election previous to the last, then we got the candidates that we wanted, and we still were in the same boat because you're fighting the problem and not fighting the issue. It doesn't matter who's in office. America has not changed for the Black community. Conditions may have gotten better, but the problems have not changed. School system economically, education wise, the school system economically, our situations haven't changed. Police brutality hasn't changed because we're looking to solve a problem instead of looking to solve the issue. And that's what I wanted to get into, and that's what I wanted to discuss. So next time someone talks to you and they want to come up to you and talk about an issue or a problem that they're talking about we having in the community, my thing is say, so what's the solution? Get into communicating about solutions to any problem that people think that they're having. Get into talking about the solution of why these things are happening and what can we do to rectify it. Because complaining does nothing. You're aware of a problem and I'm aware of a problem. You're saying, look at the problem we have, and everyone's looking at the same news and they're seeing the same problems that we have, but no one's coming up with a viable solution. And if you want to be like Hickams Dickum and you want to attack each problem as one, that's fine. Continue attacking the problems. But when you have the unity to attack a problem and you say, you know what, let's focus on this problem right now. Let's focus on the education problem. Let's start funneling our people, our kids into the HBCUs, or let's start creating our own colleges and our own schools, private schools, and funding them ourselves. So we don't have to worry about the government taking funds away. When they give us something, then they dangle it over our head and say, okay, we need you to stop doing this, or don't listen to this person, or we're going to take away this funding. I don't need your money right now. I don't need you to try to help me build something that you could turn around and take away from me or use over my head. If that's what we're going to do, then go forth and do that. But we have to listen to different appeals that people are making, whether we want to swallow that pill or not. And now what we're doing, it's a hard pill to swallow for somebody to say, you didn't do what you should have been doing. We didn't do. People will say, well, you know what, back when Malcolm was here and Martin was there, and we should have listened to Malcolm. Okay. We don't have that opportunity. Yeah, you telling me that now. So now what are you going to listen to? Those same people at that time, our people chose to take a certain path. And a lot of that path was a path of least resistance. It was too militant for them, or too much of a change in what they're used to say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to talk this way. And no, it's easier to turn the other cheek because we were fed a religion that was telling us to do that. But we have an issue with the people in a system that will use everything they can at their disposal against you and as a tool against you. So they will use your Bible against you. They will use the leaders in the past and tell you which ones had the better idea that did not work anyway. And they know it's not going to work today. And they will pump that leader's ideology to you, even though that leader's ideology may have changed. And we have to recognize what we're up against. We have to recognize that, hey, things are not working. Whatever it is that we're trying to do is not working. And we have to understand that if we want things to change, we have to do things differently. We have to understand that if we want things to be rectified, they're not going to rectify it itself. So this is where we're at. This is what I want to talk to everybody about. I'm going to make this short, and hopefully I have a better show for y'all next week. Kevin Lewis on The Blueprint. Peace.